All right. Hey, welcome to HP Life. I'm Matt.
I'm Brian. Welcome.
And HP Life's where we get together and talk about things going on in the life of Highland Park Christian Church and talk about its members and talk about sermon series and everything that's going on. Speaking of things going on, we have small groups.
Yes,
launching.
I messed up and forgot that announcement yesterday. So yeah, small groups launch on the 22nd.
Okay.
And so if people want to sign up, they can just text the word group to the number. And we've got some openings in groups that we would love to plug you in. Our goal is for it to feel like a family.
Yeah.
You share a meal together. You get to know people, some younger, some older, people from different walks of life, and you grow spiritually and with one another, care for one another. So we want everybody to be part of a small group.
Yeah.
And most of them are going to run for about 8 weeks, then take a little pause through the holidays, and then kind of revamp.
Relaunch
In
January,
in
February.
mid late January. Yep.
And then we also, just as a reminder, we have a full slate of stuff on Wednesday night for kids all the way up to adults. And so you can find different things on our events section of our website and the app.
Yeah, and if I can back up, if you text group, we will contact you and say, here's some options. So we're not just going to put you somewhere and say, go there. So we'll give you some options. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just slide them over into something.
Yeah.
And then we've been going through tough questions on Sunday mornings, which is our annual look at some of the more difficult things that we could be dealing with as Christians. And so yesterday's was when do I give? How do I know when it's do I give? And kind
when
of all
a kid
that.
asks, or a person on the street asks, or a friend asks, like, how do I know when to give? And so the two big principles are, number one, we give with compassion, not out of guilt or shame or coercion or wanting something back, but we give with compassion and we give with wisdom. And it's putting those two things together. So there were some really great questions that came in. If you all missed, I would go back and watch what happened yesterday morning, the sermon, and then the Q&A afterwards. But there was another question that came in that we didn't have time for that we wanted to spend a moment on this morning.
Yeah, when your own life is difficult, what are ways to still be a good neighbor, and how can you turn your attention outward, especially if your life feels overwhelming?
Yeah, that's a great question. And again, I would remind ourselves that God is gracious and He understands our season. And there's times where we're not able to output as much as maybe we did the year before. And that's okay. God is gracious with that. I'm reminded, and actually going to be in this text in about a month, but go read Mark 1:35 and the following verses, and maybe read a little before it and a little after. And Jesus is overwhelmed with needs. I mean, they're just coming from everywhere. It's chaos. And His disciples wake up and He's gone. Where is He? And so they go find Him. He's up on a mountainside praying. Got up before the sun rose so He could have some quiet time with the Father, just praying, thinking, and that gave Him a vision for what He was going to do next. It helped give Him some clarity. And I think for anybody who's in a season of like constantly caring for a need already in their life, then you may not be able to have a mountainside nearby, but to find a quiet few moments in your day to say, Lord, here's all the stuff going on. I just want to sit with You for a few moments and feel Your grace, that I don't have to do everything. But if there's something that I am to do, would You help direct me? And just that bit. And it offers Jesus clarity that the disciples lacked in that moment. And it prepared Him to honestly enter more chaos. He went right back into it, just in different places. So that's probably the best word I have for you, is to just spend a few moments with the Lord. Trust His grace, trust His direction in your life.
Yeah, and then just some other kind of quick thoughts. I mean, like, do we give just because somebody asks? You know, if somebody's like, hey, I need money.
So one person sent a note to us, texted in, and I thought what they said was really helpful. They said they always try to respond when asked, but they may not respond with what the person asked for. And I think that's kind of a Jesus way of doing things.
Yeah.
He did that as well. And so sometimes if somebody might
Yeah,
ask...
He didn't always give them exactly what they asked for.
Sometimes if somebody may ask for money, This person may give them conversation or give them time or offer prayer or invite to have a meal next week or something where they respond. And I think that's a healthy way to do that. I think that's compassionate and it's wise because it's really hard to be wise if you don't have any kind of knowledge, relationship, whatever. And I would also say when you drive through an intersection and somebody has a sign, I don't know that you need to put the stress on yourself.
That's not a personal question.
That's maybe not a personal ask. Like if you go through 4 intersections in 20 minutes, am I responsible to respond to like, I would give yourself the grace and say no. But when you have opportunity to get to visit with somebody and somebody asks you, or maybe you can talk to somebody, then that invites a more personal request from somebody and a personal response that may not be exactly what they want. Remember, it was Peter and John. Hey, silver and gold, we don't have any silver and gold to give you, but we can give you something better.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be cautious about how we say that.
Yeah.
To not belittle the request, but to show compassion and wisdom and maybe give people friendship is maybe what they even need more in the long term than what you may not be able to give them monetarily.
And sometimes, if you are in a hurry or whatever and you don't have time to like stop at every intersection, you can pray for them.
Yeah.
And I think that just like helps humanize them.
Yeah.
In fact, we also got another text in from somebody who, when they're going downtown to work, they will put a box of donuts in the car and we'll give a donut out to somebody and then spend a little time talking to the homeless and getting to know them.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, sometimes just that personal time is just a felt need.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a guy that I pulled over and visited with one time, and then I would keep seeing him in the neighborhood. And that made it easy for me to pull over and stop and check on him, see how he's doing, able to have a meal with him. And that felt so much more productive for both of us because he was then my friend.
Yeah.
Not just a stranger that I would happen to drive by. And so I think if you can get to there maybe with one, you can't do that with everybody, but maybe with one.
And it is hard.
Yeah.
We said that yesterday. We're not saying that these are easy things.
No.
And that's why you're not doing it for every single person necessarily. So.
Yeah.
So we want to close out with just asking this question: when was the time that someone helped you? And if you put that in the chat or text, I'd love to hear about that and start the conversation going. So
yeah.
Well, that's it for this time. Thanks.
Thank you all. See y'all.
Bye bye.